Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dark Waters, and I'm back. And I want to start this video off by saying this. Yesterday, or the last video, which I was really doing some testing, and I didn't really get too deep into what I was saying, I talked about how we have a problem in the conservative movement where everybody thinks that stuff has to be perfect. And it's this unrealistic view of men, how men actually engage each other, whether it be privately or publicly. And the funny thing about it is, as much as the right, conservatives like us, say we're anti-woke, we still fall into these traps and snares based upon bots and personalities and psychological operations. So let's start here. Many of us voted for Donald J. Trump to be president. There's no need to run around and repeat, I didn't vote for Elon Musk, I voted for Donald Trump. And this attack that came between, this divisive attack that you see now brewing between Elon and Vivek and Trump, was started by the mainstream media. It was started by The View, it was started by everybody else. They've been planting the seed for this for a long time. And the only reason why it worked is because influencers from the MAGA side decided that they were going to open their mouth and start a rift. Laura Loomer, if I'm not mistaken, the other guy who got out of prison, Steve Bannon. And so they laid the foundation, and then y'all started framing the house, which don't make no damn sense to me. And it's all about H-1B visas, where if you just take a moment, man, and go back and look, this was the same damn attack that the media launched on Donald Trump when he first was going in office in 2016. If you have any type of memory, you remember there was this kerfuffle about H-1B visas. And I'm just going to say this before I play this video and give my comments. We got to start acting like we got some damn common sense, man. And at most, the minimum you can do is say, hey, if the guy I voted for can manage the personalities of dealing with all the snakes there are in government, then I'm going to shut my ass up and let him manage this problem, if it actually is a problem. Now, Elon didn't help come out making tweets talking crazy, but you got to understand, Elon was like that when he came in. You saw Elon jumping up on stage like he was a tard. Not saying he is, highly intelligent dude, but it's like, you got to believe people and accept people for who they are when they show you who they are. And that's something for your personal life. If a person shows you they're a snake, believe they're a snake. If somebody shows you they're a high IQ genius, you have all the proof and evidence in the world that they're a high IQ genius, but their brain runs so fast that their mouth says things that their brain can't take back later, then you sit there and say, okay, well, that guy's a high IQ genius. And if a person shows you that they are the greatest manager of people in the history of managing people, like Donald J. Trump, and you've seen him punk the Canadian president, Trudeau, and make fun of him, and then the Canadian government go into a meltdown. You've seen him punk the Mexican president, and she starts to have a meltdown. You trying to tell me you gonna lay up here and worry about Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy when they right next to him, when he could sit them down and say, hey, y'all gotta calm this shit down. What's wrong with y'all? Calm down. See, that's the problem. Everybody want to be in the kitchen. Get your ass out the kitchen, man. Get out the kitchen and let the man cook. He ain't even got that way. He ain't even got the whip in a pot yet. And y'all messing around in the kitchen. Get out the kitchen, dog. Get out the kitchen. Our job is to hold the line. Our job is to expose people like this lizard chick. And I'm telling you, She got to be a lizard.
Tonight, as President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for a widespread immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now, we're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
And they frame it because they want there to be a crack between these two who focus on DOGE, which is Department of Government Efficiency, and the base. They want the base to turn on them so there won't be no DOGE. But everybody's sitting here, oh, I don't, and it's bot. And this is the craziest thing. How people don't understand these are bot accounts. I did the video and it was nothing but bot accounts. Oh, I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for Doge. All you got to do is reply to the bot. It was a female bot account. You go look at my comments. I say something like, your husband let you use your cell phone? Just to see what the reply would be. No reply. Then the next one. No reply. It's bot accounts. And you got to understand, the left doesn't have the activism that the right does. So they inflate it by bot accounts. And if you understand how to read the bot comments, then you can see the narrative. And the narrative is clear. Here's her laying out the show. She laid out her objective. Watch, listen. This is the objective of what she's talking about.
Between some of his top advisors. President-elect Donald Trump is preparing for a widespread immigration crackdown when he takes office 25 days from now. We're seeing a crack between some of his top advisors and his MAGA base. Elon Musk.
So there we go. That's the objective of this video. That's the objective of the PSYOP. It's CNN. And let's see what she got to say next.
And Vivek Ramaswamy are both facing major blowback from their own supporters for not only backing, but encouraging offering more visas to highly skilled foreign workers. Over the Christmas holiday, Musk posted this online saying, think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit top talent wherever they may be. He later added, I'm referring to bringing in, via legal immigration, the top 0.1% of engineering talent as being essential for America to keep winning. He's talking about H-1B visas, which...
Now, the narrative that was spun from that was all over my Twitter, all over my YouTube was, well, Vivek just called the average American citizens are dumb. I mean, Elon said American citizens are dumb. I don't see that anywhere in there. I don't see it anywhere. Now, what I will tell you is this. In America, we're teaching kids that boys are girls and girls are boys. We can't tell you what a woman is in American colleges. You understand what I'm saying? So when somebody says, well, we should have these jobs, these high-tech jobs in America, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But as of right now, y'all don't know what a woman is. Right, as of right now, there's many people I'd say, is that a woman right there on the screen right now? There's a generation, a whole generation in college that can't tell you that this is a woman on the camera. Now, I might say to you, I'm not sure if she's a woman. She might be a lizard woman, but she's definitely a female of some species. But somebody else would say, well, there's no such thing as female, male, and female. And you trying to tell me that from that group of people, we about to get 0.1% of the top engineers in the world to take us to space, and we can't figure out the basics of human life? Come on, bro, you got to keep it real. And it's the problem I got with people. You got to keep it 100. You got generations of children in schools right now that they're doing all kind of weird things to without the parents' consent. And you talking about, yeah, we should have those jobs. Well, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go back and look and blame it on somebody, then you got to go back further to Billy Clinton. You got to go back to the original Bush, and how all them dudes decided, you know what, man, we exporting all of the jobs away from America. And we send them all to foreign countries. And that spurred the development of those educations in those foreign nations to where those people ended up being, phenomenal engineers, phenomenal programmers. It's not to say that we can't do it in America. Our educational system is screwed. You send your son or your daughter to Harvard, they come out crazy. You send them to Ivy League school, they come out brainwashed. That's all I'm saying to you, dog. That's all I'm saying.
Allow employers to hire highly skilled foreign workers. Musk, who himself is from South Africa, said that he once had this kind of visa, and he's arguing that Silicon Valley is facing a shortage of excellent engineering talent.
Sidebar note. This is the other thing when people messing up. Right now, you got the tech industry kissing Donald Trump's boots. And this is how you know it's all a psychological operation. They don't want tech partnering with Donald. They don't want tech moving in a conservative direction where now there's guidance to what tech is doing, where they want tech to be controlled by people like Klaus Schwab, those type of people. And so the best thing you could do is drive this wedge. If you can completely drive this wedge, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. No, you kill about 10 birds with 1 stone. You got the richest man in the world pissed off. You got another extremely wealthy man, which people don't talk about how intelligent and wealthy Vivek is. You got him pissed off. All these guys are tech guys. So now the tech industry looks and sees how MAGA treats the tech guys, and they, hold on, man, I'm not sure if I'm going to get on board. They could all just go back into their own consortium and just rape and pillage everybody on their own. I mean, they can just be their own tech oligarchy and rape and pillage everybody and resist Donald Trump and resist your life and make sure the mark of the beast lands on you. Make sure that there's these super cities where you living outside the city and make sure that you don't have any food. They could easily be pushed into the hands of what I will call the World Economic Forum. And see, this is the problem that I see with not necessarily conservative pundits talking point. The problem is kind of like with some conservative influencers, these are people who are in the position where they have power and influence. There's a time when you shut the hell up, because saying anything only adds fuel to the fire. And if you just shut up and let the man that you put in place handle it, it'll be fine.
As he put it. But the annual cap on those kinds of visas right now is at $65,000, with another $20,000 for those who get a master's or a doctorate in the U.S. Musk is being backed up by his partner in Trump's government efficiency initiative, Vivek Ramaswamy. He says it's a cultural issue that there aren't more competitive engineers in the U.S. Here's what he said online. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World, or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers.
Hey, I mean, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. And see, here's the craziest thing about what he's saying. Who defines the culture of America? Like, people want to take what these guys saying and be offended by it. No. The culture of America was shaped by Hollywood. The culture of America was shaped by the media. The media shapes the culture. Don't believe me? All black people will say is, man, you know, it was that, or it was the CIA that put the drugs in the black community. And even though it wasn't the CIA that made you sell them, and it was the CIA and the deep state that did the video, they did the movies that brought gang culture to the forefront. It was the CIA that took over the rap industry and brought gangster rap. He ain't lying, bruh. He ain't, and the craziest thing is, he's not being even as honest as he should be. You cannot have engineers rise from a nation, some of the most critical thinking people rise from a nation, when they can't tell you what a man and what a woman is. That's basic logic. If the foundation of your logic is broken, then how in Sam hell do you expect to solve complex problems? I'm sorry. How do you expect to solve any kind of complex problem?
But that argument is not going over well with Trump's MAGA base, certainly not online. Some of them saying, we did not ask them to engineer an immigration policy. Tech wants indentured servants, not high-skilled workers. You don't even know what MAGA immigration policy is. Now, Trump himself, who I should note restricted H-1B visas in his first term, has said on the campaign trail this time around that he did want to make it easier for educated foreigners to work in the U.S.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
My political sources tonight are former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist Sir Michael Singleton, and also CNN economics and political commentator Catherine Rampell. And Catherine, you have covered this issue for a long time. Can you just lay out what we're looking at here in this divide between what Elon Musk says he thinks would be the best for the United States and why we are seeing something that we have not seen, frankly, almost at all lately, which is a lot of people in the MAGA universe outright disagreeing with him, arguing with him, and breaking with him.
And that's the craziest thing. Everybody's got their right to state their opinion. I mean, quite frankly, everybody's got their right to state their opinion. But here's the thing. This is where bitch assness come in at. If and you have to go back and source the tweets that she showed and make sure that the dates on the tweets that she showed are accurate, because this is CNN and they lie about everything. But let's just assume that everything that CNN showed is true, which is very terrible, which is very hard to believe because they are such liars. Where's the tweets at? Yeah, there's no dates on the tweets, but let's assume that the tweets are correct. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. Let's assume all these tweets are correct. There's a way that this is handled. And the way that it's handled is, hey, pick up the phone. Yo, listen, I'm Ann Coulter. I'm definitely an influencer in the realm politics and conservative politics. Pick up the phone. Hey, can I get in contact with Trump? I want to get a word to Trump. Listen, I don't know if we should be doing this H-1B1 visa thing the way we're doing it. And the same thing with Matt Gaetz. You know Matt Gaetz got a line. The same thing with Laura Loomer. You know they got a line. And the issue with handling things this way is that all you do is open a door for the media to jump on and create something, a rift that's even more, a rift that seems like it's bigger than what it is. So based her argument is that everybody's beefed out with, Elon and Vivek over 3 tweets. 3 tweets. And honestly, if you handle business without bitch assness, you don't even give them that opportunity. Or if you just was to say, hey, you know what? Let me see what Donald has to say on this, and let me let it play out and see how Donald handles it. And then if I need to put some pressure on Donald, I'll apply pressure directly to Donald himself. Directly to him. Mr. President, we don't like the H-1B visas. We don't want them because they're going to be taking jobs from American citizens. If that's your line you're going to take, you go directly at the Don and you make your case with him. But it's one of those things to where if you give the media an inch, and you're going to see it, if you give the media 1 inch, the media will literally turn it into the Red Sea. They don't have anything else to do. They were on their heels up until this point. The media was on its heels. They didn't have a story. ABC going out of business. MSNBC ratings lower than they've ever been. The media was on their heels until this point, and people have got to learn how to have a victory and how to hold on to victory. It's quite frankly, it's disgusting. I mean, it really is. All right, I'm going to the next topic. There was a couple other things I wanted to touch on in the news. that I...
President Trump's plans on the first few days, on day one, for example, how many executive orders is he planning?
Well, President Trump isn't even back in the Oval Office yet, and we're already seeing the Trump effect. Small business optimism. So President Trump is already acting as the president. He's already taking steps to make real change for the American people.
I love how she just answers the questions that she wants to answer and just ignores everything. I mean, it was flawless how she did it. I mean, it was amazing.
But as for executive action on day...
Can you talk to us a bit about President Trump's plans on the first few days?
She gonna get out what she want to get out first. Here you go.
On day one, for example, how many executive orders is he planning?
Well, President Trump isn't even back in the Oval Office yet, and we're already seeing the Trump effect. Small business optimism. So President Trump is already acting as the president. He's already taking steps to make real change for the American people. But as for executive action on day one, yes, he will use the power of his pen to deliver on many of the promises he made to the American people on the campaign trail to secure the southern border, to fast track permits for fracking, for drilling, and to also take executive action to stop some of the transgender insanity that we have seen take over this country. I think the American people are going to be pleased with what they see from President Trump within mere minutes of his return to the Oval Office.
President-elect Trump's incoming White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, talking to Maria last week. Let's bring in Trump's incoming White House counselor, Alina Habba. Alina, thank you so much for joining us. Do appreciate it. Look, there are a lot of things that have to happen before now on January 20th. I get that. But assuming everything goes smoothly, and it should, then on January 20th, the president's going to do a lot of things. But
they need a sound check for this lady.
How is the president going to fight back against the efforts by the Biden administration to Trump-proof the workforce and all these other things? He's out there selling the border wall. What are the things that Trump's up against, and what is he going to do to fight back against it?
Well, I think we're seeing the fight already begin, Jason. If you look at what we've done, we've had just recently an amicus brief filed against what he's doing with TikTok, because President Trump believes he can solve it in a way that will help and benefit Americans and keep TikTok regulated so that we can maintain it. We've seen, again, the border wall, like you said, him selling off the border wall.
Let me tell you something. When Donald Trump if he has the ability to solve the TikTok problem, which is basically that TikTok is a Chinese-run spy company. What are you doing? Go back to what we were looking at. If Donald Trump can solve the TikTok problem, it's going to literally open him up to a whole nother generation of people. I mean, a younger generation is going to fall in love with Donald Trump, because you have a generation of teenagers that are making massive amounts of money on TikTok. I mean, they're making all kind of money on TikTok. So when he solves the TikTok problem for them, they're going to love them some Donald Trump. And it's weird. It's not weird, but it makes sense why Biden would sabotage. Like, it's strategic, almost like there's an AI that's war gamed how to sabotage the Trump incoming administration, how to sabotage America. Because when you look at it, it's like the perfect pinpointed strikes. Boom. Let's hit TikTok and let's do this. And let's make sure that he doesn't have an opportunity to finish this. Boom. Let's hit this. Let's have plane crashes to make sure that there's problems in South Korea coming into it. Later on, we could blame it on North Korea. Let's have boom. Let's have this. All the way down to the weather. How many of y'all guys notice that you've been getting summer storms in December? How many of y'all notice you've been getting summer rainstorms? Summer rain. Yeah, I love that song. But how many of y'all notice that you've been getting summer rainstorms in December? Yeah. You should have noticed that by now. Summer rainstorms with tornadoes in December. It don't really work that way because the weather ain't set up like that, because it's a little bit chilly. And I'm going to say this to you. Prepare yourself, because we're about to have a cold, harsh winter. My weatherman already been talking about it. We're going to get to that next, but let me get back to what they're saying about Biden and them.
And the second thing is the debt ceiling. What can the president do right away to deal with those two big issues?
listen, first of all, we have to clean up a lot of the mess. And that includes some of the DEI hires, some of the ridiculous decisions that were made, and putting people in that maybe didn't have the merit to be in the administration and in those positions. With having people like Kash Patel, having people like Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, they're going to be dealing with their departments and making sure we have the correct people in there. When you turn into debt, first of all, we've got a president that just spent, what was it, $50 billion on the Amazon. He's sending money out like it's growing on trees in the back, in the south lawn of the White House.
He's embezzling money, and you should call it what it is.
White House. And we have got to look at tariffs. We've got to look at some of the things that President Trump is going to do to make sure that America is not second, third, fourth, but we're first, because people want to trade with this country, but it has to be fair. And President Trump is a strong voice, a strong president who will demand respect and get our country back on track. We can't be just handing out bailouts to every country that wants anything. The Amazon wants a big check. Okay, let's do it right before we get out of office. You know, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But Jason, we have a president who's been on vacation for 40% of his presidency. 40%. So I don't even think he's checked in, but he has no problem spending American money. And
that's what we have to establish, truth, guys. That's not Joe Biden doing it. Red state. I mean, let's just keep it real. I mean, let's just keep it 100. The press are astonished Biden's senility was underreported as the hot dog man meme comes to life. So what you're trying to say is that the press is, quote unquote, surprised. You knew he was senile the whole damn time. You just, as the mainstream media, you could not hide the fact that he was senile when it got to the point to where we had the debate with him and Donald Trump. One of the toughest parts of being a political commentator is trying to figure out whether the people I'm critiquing truly lack any and all self-awareness, or if they are just dishonest hacks, willing to go to absurd lengths to gaslight Americans. Unfortunately, it's typically the latter. And that's the assumption I'm forced to make about Sunday's Face the Nation Roundtable. During the segment in which the year's most underreported stories are discussed, Jan Crawford spoke up to the state of the obvious, to state the obvious about President Joe Biden's long-standing senility. The fact that his ass is senile. Garrett. One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was uncovered or what was underreported. Jan, ? Crawford. Uncovered and underreported. That would be Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate. Garrett. At the presidential debate with Donald Trump. Crawford. Unquestioned. And you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years, and yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcibly questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election. So now we got people coming out saying that, I got to see this. Now we got people coming out saying, well, yeah, you know, at the end of all of this, now it was clear that he was senile. But I mean, you got footage of him behaving and acting senile. It's not like it's something brand new. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is footage right here.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
He's asked, here it is. Washington Free Beacon, where's Jackie? Biden asked, referring to Representative Jackie Warlowski, who died in a car accident in August. The White House was going to play a tribute video to her during the event. So the whole purpose is to play a tribute video to the lady, and he's asking for the dead lady. It's not like, I mean, it's been obvious that this man has been in mental decline and that he has dementia or whatever the hell he has going on with him. It was our media that covered it up, which brings it back to my original point, was they lie so much, you can't give them a way in. You can't. You can't get these people a way in.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
You can't give these guys a leg up.
That Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up. Chuck, let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck. Thank you, pal. You can tell I'm new. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
And so this just goes to prove that he's been making gaffes a long time. But the fact of the matter is, we all know something wrong with his ass at this point in time. Everybody knew when he was running for president that something was wrong with him, that clearly he wasn't there. So all these decisions that are being made, clearly they're being made by committee. There's evidence where you'll see Obama standing next to Joe Biden and Kamala, and he seems like he's bossing them both around. We've seen the video clips where Joe and Obama are going back and forth, and you can kind of tell Joe is kind of himself, and he's trying to convince Obama some things. Obama has this look like, sit your behind down. We've seen it all. What's going on here? We've seen it all play out, quite frankly. We've seen it all play out right in front of our faces. Benny Johnson.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Please, Mr. Vice President, thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
Chris. I just did Chris. No, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back. Anyway.
No, it's
I don't
okay.
know how you do it early in the morning, too.
Safe travels on the.
And see, that's when he had a little bit of sense to him. He could swing it around and fix it. Get that little devious smile on his face. Look at this.
Oh, no, I just did Chuck. I tell you what, man, these are back to back. Anyway.
No, it's
I don't
okay.
know how you do it early in the morning, too.
Safe travels on the campaign trail. Thank you, sir.
That little devilish smile on his face. But that's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. We have to get to the point to where we remember who the enemy is. You got to remember who the enemy is, man. That's all I'm saying to you. Remember who your enemy is. I'm on to the next video. Deuces.